look what wifey has bought me. In the last Mish-Mash video I made that Italian sausage chili. And I was complaining that I was having to break it up with a spoon, if you remember, in that Dutch oven, for those of you who watch my videos. Anyway, I said I was going to get one of those square types with a sharp edge. Well, wifey went out and found one for me. The only problem is the angle. It has no angle. I would have to chop any meat straight up and down like this. I don't like that. What I'm going to do is kind of modify it a little bit. I'm going to put a slanted edge on it. I'm not sure how slanted, maybe about like that. Then I'm going to sharpen the edge just like it is right here on a sander. And that way I'll be able to do my chopping. I won't have to hold the thing straight up and down to do the chopping. I can kind of hold it at an angle and work it in the pot like it's supposed to be without, without bending my wrist real bad and all that crap. I can just get it down in there and just chop it just like that. So let's go ahead and mark that angle, and then I'll take it in on a disc sander. See if I can't put an edge on that baby. There she is, all ground down. I did not make a razor sharp edge on there. You want it to be a little bit rounded, okay? You don't want it, to where it might splinter or break off in your food. So you got to kind of round it. And remember, we're not going to be, ramming this thing down in there. We're going to be pushing it down in, chopping meat, stuff like that. Now I may have to wind up narrowing this thing a little bit. I may even have to cut the angle more. I don't think so, but I could wind up narrowing it down a little bit. This thing may be a little wide. I'll know more after I actually start cooking with it. And then I rounded off all the sharp edges on the handle, especially up in this area here where it fits into the palm of my hand while I'll be doing this number. I don't want those sharp edges up there would cut into my hand. So anyway, one chore done. It turned out real well, I thought. For those of you who watch my videos, you know that a couple of Mish-Mash videos ago, I made some artisan bread. And wifey said, it was good and tasty and all, but I prefer the white bread. So I went ahead and cooked her 2 loaves of white bread. And they came out of the oven. I'm fixing to take them out of the pans. And she wants me to cut her off a chunk with some warm butter. So I think I'll do that for her. Wifey says it's pretty good, but it's not as good as what she would make. Alright, fine, okay. I acquiesce to her on that. It's still pretty darn good. Well, I'll tell you what, that's still warm, so I think I'll go ahead and cover that up. So, while I'm waiting for her to tell me that bread's even better than what she makes, which would be a long time, I guess, I've decided that we might as well cook something today. Let's cook chicken a la king, and we're going to cook it in the old Dutch oven. Later on, wifey's going to make biscuits, and we'll put the chicken a la king over the biscuits. And when I was a kid, boy, I'll tell you what, in high school, about once a week, I think it was on Thursdays, they used to have turkey a la king on biscuits. Oh, it was the greatest stuff in the world. But we're going to have chicken a la king today, and we're going to do it all in one pot, I hope. All in one pot. We'll use a bowl, but we're going to cook it all in one pot. Now we're going to start by cutting the butter in half, melting half of it in there. Then after it melts in there, we're going to have some sliced mushrooms. I'm going to slice them up in maybe smaller pieces than slices. I don't know. It just depends on what I feel like doing when I start doing it. Then we're going to add about a half a bag of these peas and carrots. Alright, I have the heat on extremely low, very, very low, just barely on, just enough to start the butter melting because I don't want it to start really cooking. I just want it to melt, okay? Now we have our mushrooms. Now, when it comes to mushrooms, I'm only going to use the top part, not the stem. And the way you get that stem out of there is you just kind of hard to do with one hand, but I think I can pull it off. You just kind of bend it over, and it comes right out, just like that. 2 hands is a lot easier. It pops right out with 2 hands, but one hand, there you go, it just pops right out, okay? Now I'll go ahead and chop these up, as many as I need. I'm not going to use all of them. I used about 5 mushrooms and cut them into various size pieces, nothing, whatever I felt like doing. It didn't have to be big or small. And then I threw in the peas and carrots, about the amount that I want. You can use maybe a cup of each. Or you can add more mushrooms, or you don't even have to use peas and carrots. You can use pimentos, or just green bell peppers, or green and red bell peppers. You can use whatever you want as a vegetable in your chicken a la king. And the amount is up to you. I'm going to try this amount and see what happens. We're going to throw it into melted butter. Then I'm just going to crank up my fire just a little bit here. We're going to pretty much just saute this around for about, I don't know, 5-6 minutes. Kind of get it a little bit boiling. Not boiling, but you know, pretty much a little bit cooked and hot, you know. Then I'm going to remove the vegetables and the mushrooms. I'm going to put them in this bowl and set them off to the side. So let's just let this cook for a while, see what we can get out of it. Right now this mess doesn't look like a whole lot, but I've cranked the heat up and it'll start, you know, bubbling and sizzling here in a little while. And later you'll see the benefit of having these three things together. The wifey just came over and started giving me heartburn. She said, "You don't have enough carrots and peas in there. Put more carrots and peas." You know, this isn't pea and carrot a la king. It's chicken a la king. Oh well, she also wanted me to put a few more mushrooms in, so I did. I don't know what she think we're feeding an army here or something. There's only going to be about 4 of us eating it today. But I'll do as she wants. One time only, of course. Now I had planned today on making chicken cacciatore, but that was done a couple of videos ago by Junk Collector. He made chicken cacciatore with chicken nuggets, and I was going to make it with regular old chicken, boiled chicken, that sort of thing, which I might do at some point in the future. But we're coming up on about 5 minutes cooking time now on our peas, carrots, and mushrooms. So I think we're just about ready to take out the peas, carrots, and mushrooms and put them in this bowl and leave the juice behind in the pot. Alright, everything's been removed and placed in this bowl. We'll be putting it back in the pot later. But right now we want it added there, and we are going to add another half a stick of butter to the existing fluid or liquid that we left inside. We've got it again. I have it on very low heat, and we're going to go ahead and let that kind of melt around in there. And while it does, I'm going to go ahead and start chopping up this chicken. Now, I went ahead and bought a couple of bags of chicken breast strips, grilled type stuff. You can use any kind of chicken you want. You can cook your own chicken if you want in a pot, boil it all down, separate it, and all that jazz. I'm not too much into that. Chicken's chicken as far as I'm concerned, especially if it's already been seasoned and cut. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of cut it up in little pieces like this, and so when comes time to add later, it'll look real good sitting in there. Won't be any problem at all. So I'll be working on that while the butter melts. Alright, she's doing pretty good. Nice and melted. Now we're going to add about 1/4 cup of flour to that. And we're going to make a nice little thick kind of a deal going here. You got to kind of stir it until it's stiff. You may have to wind up adding a little more flour. You never know. Just kind of add it till it's nice and stiff. We're mixing that butter and all that juice from those vegetables in here. It's going to be a little thick, but a little lumpy a little bit. Just keep stirring it and it'll thicken up. It'll get pretty darn thick, I'll tell you. It'll almost be like a batter. Alright, she's starting to get thick. I had to add a little more flour to it just to get it a little bit thicker. It doesn't really matter. You can have it kind of thick this much, or you can just boil it down to it barely moves, just kind of rolls around in the pan like dough. Anyway, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and add about 1.5 cups of milk. Then we're going to add 1.5 cups of chicken broth. So let's start with the milk. I've got the heat on low again. I moved it down to number 1 on the stove. And that's 1 cup. Let's get about 1/2 cup in there. And we'll be done with that. There we go, about 1.5 cups. There's the half. Now we'll just kind of stir that around a little bit. Get that kind of dissolved. Then we'll set up the measuring cup with the chicken broth. Alright, 1 cup of the chicken broth is in. Here's the other half. So we got 1.5 milk, 1.5 chicken. But I'm going to do something else also. I'm going to doctor this up John's way a little bit. The object now is to boil it down till it thickens, you know. Just boil her down so she gets nice and thick. Or somewhat creamy is really, not thick. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some cream and mushroom soup to that. I don't really know how much. Maybe, I'll tell you what. Why bother with all the measuring and stuff? Let's just put about a half a can in there. See what happens. That's about a half a can. Now we'll go ahead and just mix that all up. That'll help it thicken. It'll give it more of a mushroom flavor in addition to the mushrooms we put in there. Of course, mushrooms don't have a taste. You know, a lot of people say, oh, I don't like the taste of mushrooms. Mushrooms have no taste. They absorb the taste of the surrounding items. They're colorless and they're tasteless. I learned that in biology in high school. Oh boy, she's beginning to thicken up really nice. Now at this stage of the game, I'm going to go ahead and add a little salt. Not a whole lot, maybe a teaspoonful. And I'm going to add a little white pepper. This is ground white pepper. Okay? I just don't want the black to show up, even though white pepper really isn't white. We're not going to add that much, just enough to give it a flavor. Everyone else can add their pepper and salt as they wish. They can add more or none. It makes no difference. She's starting to cream up really good. In a few more minutes, we're going to take our peas and carrots and mushrooms and dump in there. And we're also going to put our chicken in there. I think what I can do right now is turn down the fire a little bit. Oh, she's perfect now. Just perfect. Let's get those peas and carrots and things in there, and we'll get a nice looking conglomeration going. Ooh, look at that. Starting to look good already. Yeah, I've got the heat down low again. We don't really need to cook it anymore. All we have to do is just get everything hot. Now we'll go ahead and add our chicken. I'm going to add about maybe almost 2 cups of chicken. Just add that much right there and see what happens. Just stir that around, see how that looks. Wifey is cooking the biscuits. It won't be long now. Well, there it is. 1 pot chicken a la king. Ethan, get your plate over here a little closer. A little bit more. You want it on the other one too?
No, that's
just those 2 right there, huh? Alright. And here's a couple. I'm going to put it all over mine. All over it. Ah, man, I'll tell you, it sure smells good. Yes, sir. Well, Ethan says it tastes pretty good, huh? Does it got a nice little flavor to the sauce and all that? Good. And Wifey has tested it. What do you think, honey?
good.
Good. Grandma, she just wanted the juice. She didn't want the meat. Poor thing.
Yeah, I'm
fixing to taste it myself. I'll let you know how it tastes.
Yeah.
Well, that's all that's left. Not a whole lot. It went over pretty big. Now, keep in mind, you can season this stuff any way you want. It's your chicken a la king. You put anything in it you want. You can add onions, anything. It doesn't matter. Leeks, you know, you make it your way. You can put chili powder in it if you want. I don't care. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, this is John.